Hey there, angry faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice, or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we not only we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, angry faithful. Today we're going to talk about ferret leggings. Ferret leggings was an endurance test or stunt in which ferrets are trapped in the trousers worn by a participant, also known as put them down. The ferret trousers, it seems to have a popular among coal miners in Yorkshire, England. Contestants put live ferrets in their trousers. The winner is the one who is the last to release the animal. Yeah, you heard that right, Johnny. There we go. The stuff I find on the internet. This is awesome.
So we willingly shove ferrets
Yeah.
in our pants.
Yes.
And the winner is the last one to take them off.
Mm-hmm. That's how it goes, man.
That doesn't seem much more of a sport, but more of like a rush week thing for fraternities.
Yeah. It's fucking phenomenal. Oh, and
fraternities belonging to the alphabet gang at that.
Yeah. I figured out something yesterday because I was kind of curious.
Okay.
Putting our stuff up front and everything like that. Because I know you said curse words in the not clean intro. But
which I fixed.
Yeah, we fixed that. But you know that 30-second long thing to where we can't cuss and everything?
Yeah, the intro was blowing it all to smithereens.
No. It wasn't. 1 second afterwards, you say fuck. And depending on which intro, which like the psychos and sociopaths, we don't worry about. The nerd sports, maybe, but the what the hell episodes, you're 1 second afterwards, you say fuck. I mean, legitimately, it's actually like 1.25 seconds afterwards.
I suddenly feel like I need to work on myself as a person.
Like good or bad? I have to another thing is I have to re-record that dildo suppressor thing. I only have to record the
Did it work?
No. It was 3 to 4 decibels lower. Tansy asked about that too. He was like, did it work? I was like, it's only like 3 or 4 decibels. It's like, so I wouldn't put one on at a combat. I wouldn't say that. I'd put it on there for fucking fear factor. More or less like fixed bayonets, fixed dildos.
I want to mount a bicycle horn to a picnic rail.
Yeah.
So that way, if somebody breaks into my house, the last thing they hear before they get smoked is a bicycle horn.
No, not before we get going and everything like that. What my one of my coworkers said, he's like, fuck that, I got a muzzle brake that looks like a dick. So there's that. You can get a muzzle brake that looks like a dick. The other thing is that the
Thank
ball.
God I'm on a budget right now.
Yeah. The the balls, the balls on the dildo and everything does make. The only reason why I didn't use it as a handle is because I didn't know I could feel where the barrel was, but I didn't feel comfortable, and I felt like I was going to shoot my fucking hand off. But you can use it as a handle. It has a good grip. Good grip. So good grip. It was fucking phenomenal. So, Field of Dreams.
It was ballistic.
What the hell?
No. Phallus.
Ballistic. Okay, I got you.
Phallistastic. Phallistastic. That's a better word.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Field of Dreams baseball.
Yeah, the Field of Dreams game was last Thursday. It was, okay, so I missed most of the pregame, but I did see the pregame festivities on the field.
Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. Dude, I almost cried.
I got to watch Griffey Jr. play in person when we lived up in Washington State, before my dad retired from the Navy. And growing up, he's always been my favorite ball player. I was never a Mariners fan, but I was a Griffey Jr. guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to witness seeing him and his dad play on the same field that season. And, and it was great. I mean, just absolutely amazing, right? I used to have a poster that had Griffey Jr., Griffey Sr.'s locker next to each other, and it said Griffey, the next generation. It was a play on the Star Trek show that was out of time, right? So, I was like, all right, cool. But watching Griffey Jr. walk out of the corn and then his dad follow up behind him, and then he looks at his dad and says, "Hey, Dad, can I have a catch?" Dude, sent chills up my arm. And I'm sitting there watching these guys play. And Griffey throws that first ball over to his dad, and his dad drops it.
Yeah, I seen that.
I mean, I'm laughing, and I'm like, man, I got all of my emotions watching that pregame.
Junior was shaking his head.
He was, and and leave it to Mike Napoli. Mike Napoli played first base for the Red Sox in 2013 when they won the World Series, and he now is working with David Ross, who played catcher that season also, as first base coach for the Chicago Cubs. David Ross is the manager, and they're showing, the camera is looking into the Cubs dugout, and Mike Napoli comes out of the tunnel into the dugout, and he's got one of those personal massage guns in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He reaches over and cup checks one of the bench coaches on national TV live. I saw it, and I'm like, wait, did that just happen? Oh, yeah, that just happened. And it was hilarious because, you've got the beauty and the simplicity and just the majesty of the game. And then it pans over, and the next shot that you see is Mike Napoli nut tapping somebody, which shows that these are just a bunch of grown men playing a kid's game, and they're having fun at it.
Yeah.
And, and it was a good game. I love the fact that they took the time to mic up some guys while they're playing this game. And Joey Votto, he plays center field. No, he plays right field. Right field for the Reds, if I'm not mistaken. They were talking to him during the game. And he was talking about how he wore out the family's VHS copy of the Field of Dreams at home when he was growing up because it just inspired him to be a ball player. And him and his dad would play catch every day for years. And his dad, a few months ago, passed away from cancer. And he says, I'm out here on this field longing to play catch with my dad out here. And I'm out here actually on this field playing this game.
That's like
dude
right there.
Dude, that's I don't care who you are. There is no ninjas in the room. I'm straight up crying, right? So I'm just like, I'm thinking about like my dad, thinking about my boys, and just wanting to go there specifically just to do that. And yeah, they won't have the game next year because of construction, but they're going to resume it in 2024. Mm-hmm. But, I'm just like, man, that's amazing. I want to be able to do that, and I mean, even if we don't stay there, like at the field per day, because I mean, let's face it, that's a $3,700 weekend right there, not counting airfare, and then food and transportation to and from the airport. So, to take everybody that I want to take to that field, we're probably looking at closer to 10 grand, just for a weekend, just to say, hey, put your ball gloves in your bags and let's go. But I mean, but it would make for one hell of a road trip. And I don't know. It's part of the romanticism of the game. Just the magic that it holds. And it's just that when they're talking to Joey Votto, and I'm just like, you know what, it's just that's it right there. That's what this game is about. And at the root of it all, it's about family and the memories that you can make through the game and the game itself. And the fact that Ted Williams nailed it correctly when he said that baseball is a perfect game. We're just blessed as individuals because we get to watch imperfect men play it. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. And you and I have done that off camera at nauseum. For that, specifically on that subject. But
if it wasn't,
I mean, for crying out loud, I have got Fenway Park in my wedding band, so it's kind of a, it's just that. But as far as current baseball news, there's a lot of things people are not happy with. I mean, the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 with a recent series over the weekend at Fenway Park. It's not that the Red Sox suddenly got that much better. It's the fact that just the Yankees offense is struggling and the pitching staff is falling apart. And it's almost like kind of like they peaked too soon. I mean, they're scratching and clawing. They're trying to figure out ways to get hot again. I mean, we're talking 10 losses in their last 12 games.
Okay.
And anybody who plays for New York, it doesn't matter what team from New York you play for, whether it be the Yankees, the Giants, any of their basketball teams, their hockey team, the Mets, it doesn't matter. If you play in the New York media market, you are going to get lambasted if you're not putting together wins. And, it's it's kind of laughable um, when we look at what is happening. You know,
Mhm.
it's everybody kind of nobody at the beginning of the season nobody expected the Yankees to come out of the gates firing the way that they did, but at the same time, as soon as they started winning games the way that they were, everybody was ready just to hand them the division, hand them the league pennant, and then just coronate them with their 28th World Series championship. But
Is
every team that has had success early on in the season has been the unfortunate recipient of a lot of that. And you start getting right around the trade deadline. Sometimes it's before, most of the times it's after. Um, it's not. I mean, especially they made this huge deal. Um, deal about getting rid of Joey Gallo. They traded for him from the Texas Rangers a couple of years ago. They got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in that same deal. Joey Gallo has been this lights out slugger, prolific home run hitter over the last few years, and he spent the last what amounts to full season. Um, okay, let's see.
well, right now the Dodgers are on a 12-game winning streak, so they're
Yeah, they're
they're
on a
actually
12 game.
yeah, they're pretty much on the headways. And they have from what I was watching, they haven't been it was just one of those curiosity things. And yes, I do keep in touch with the sports stuff for the show, even though I'm not a sports guy. But
Yeah.
they've been in the playoffs almost like for about 20 years.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the problem with the Dodgers are basically the West Coast version of the Yankees, especially after Magic Johnson went in with that ownership group. They went in there and they bought it. Uh, and they started putting together lineups that were supposed to guarantee a world title to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to go out and they make these trades to move up in the draft to get Clayton Kershaw from Southlake, Texas. They go out there and they get um, Max Muncy. I mean, they do all kinds of
They're
things,
basically
right?
trying to pull off what the Chargers did last year.
Well, you mean the Rams? No, yeah, where they're trying to do that
Was it
now.
Rams? Okay.
No, the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
Los Angeles is a over super saturated sports market. It's got two baseball teams and two football teams within its greater metropolitan area. You've got the Los Angeles Chargers, the Los Angeles Rams, the LA Dodgers, and then you've got the LA Angels of Anaheim. Now, I mean that's just a short trip down
What's the
whatever highway that
yeah.
is. Do what now? Oh, and then you got the LA Kings, and then you've got the LA Clippers, you got the LA Lakers. I mean, you got so much professional sports rammed into that small area. Um, it's just with the
But you gotta
exception,
keep those actors like entertained so they stay there.
to hell with Hollywood, man. Really,
Well, how
Hollywood
many
rarely gets anything right.
how many teams does New York have? I know they have like
Okay, they got the Yankees, they got the Giants, they got the Mets, they've got the Brooklyn Nets. Or no, wait, okay, hold on. They got the Yankees, the Mets. Um, they got the New York Islanders. They've got the New York Rangers. Those are their hockey teams. So that's four. You've got the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, and
wasn't
then
there
I think
another
they've got a
there's
soccer team.
another New York
Oh, and the New York Jets. So
isn't there like a
you're looking at nine professional sports organizations just in the New York area.
there's two isn't there like two hockey teams in New York?
Yeah, the Islanders and the Rangers. I counted them.
What's the what did Wayne Gretzky play for?
Wayne Gretzky played for the New York or for the LA Kings.
Oh, okay.
Well, in the majority of his career, he played for the Kings. Um,
I
he
think
played
that's
in
it.
Edmonton. He played in on I think Ontario. No, you know what? Don't get me sideways with the hockey crew. Um, I believe I know for a fact that he played a majority of his career with the LA Kings. So I think that that's what he was inducted in the NHL Hall of Fame with. So,
Yeah,
but
because
but I mean,
they're
but
white
just the
flag.
fact that you know, and when Joey Gallo he got traded to the Dodgers
Okay.
um for some prospects, I believe, and Joey Gallo said he absolutely hated it in New York, and once he got out of New York, he went out there and uh just started hitting bombs, and it yeah, that I had to switch back over to my regular camera here, or the phone camera for whatever reason. The continuity apps, I'm still testing the beta, so that whole thing there. But when he gets out to L.A., I mean, he cheated because the um the New York Yankees have this shaving rule where you have to be clean shaven. Well, he pretty much figured he was out the door, so he started growing his beard a few days ahead of time. So when they announced the trade, he already had a head start on his beard that he had in Texas when he got out to LA. He's out there hitting home runs for them.
For the Yankee, for the
No, for the Dodgers.
for the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah. But um, it just the New York media is not for the faint of heart, man. I mean, really. Um,
They are fucking brutal.
dude, they're brutal, dude. And they are some of the most condescending and childish uh, media outlets out there too. Like when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018, they were
Mm.
like, okay, Red Sox World Series titles 9, Yankees still 27. And it was like, uh-huh, yeah. That's how deep the rivalry goes, though. It's like, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter if the Yankees are playing at Fenway Park or not. You'll at some point during the course of any given Red Sox home game, you will hear the chants "Yankees suck" break out at some point during the course of a ball game. Um, but it's and then you get the Yankees fans like, "Oh, we got 27 World Championships." Oh, okay, that's great, awesome, good, that's a cool story, bro. But Dusty Baker, manager for the Astros, he's really starting to come under some fire. Um, I mean, he's out there putting people in the lineup that make no sense. The Astros
Wasn't
have
that the wasn't that the same manager that helped out with the
no,
line stealing and shit?
no, that was
Or they get rid of him?
no, that was AJ Hinch, and AJ Hinch is the manager for I forget who he's managing for now. The Tigers.
Oh.
He's up in Detroit now. But Dusty Baker, he's an old school guy. Um, he's been in baseball for decades, and he's really, I don't know. I'm all about these legacy managers, that are like a throwback to the way baseball used to get played. Uh, Tony La Russa, the manager for the White Sox, Chicago White Sox, he's been filmed falling asleep in the dugout during games. And then when he wakes up, he has no clue what the hell's going on in the game. And he makes some boneheaded management decision and pulls a player or puts in a play, calls a play at the plate, whatever, that really doesn't benefit the team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's getting raked over the coals in Chicago, but Dusty Baker's starting to hear some critics chirping a little bit louder in Houston, just because he's been putting the team in positions to drop games here lately. I'm trying to look. at standings here real quick because I know that the Astros are still in first place of their division by like 12 games. So them making the playoffs, it's kind of a no-brainer. But they've lost. They've only won 6 out of the last 10, and some of those games are to teams that they should have just kind of rolled over. But they lost last night 4-2 in Chicago playing the White Sox. They're playing them again tonight. And then Seattle's been on a hot streak. They've won 6 out of their last 10. They're like 9 games over 500. Boston is at last place. Good God, it's terrible. We're 15 games back from the Yankees. 2 games under 500. And it's just like, it's horrible. I have absolutely no ill-conceived notions of grandeur that my Red Sox are going to make the playoffs this year. But it's still nice to see them beat the Yankees. But at any rate, yeah, baseball's starting to wind down a little bit. We're in the last, let's see, August, September, October. So we're really in the last month and a half of the regular season. So we're in the last month and a half of the regular season, and then we're going to start seeing with this expanded playoff format that Robert Manclown decided to introduce, where he opened it up to 12 teams, taking the wild card spot from 2 teams to opening up to 3, and then eliminating the elimination play-in game, which is essentially game 163. And it's almost to the point. And he's even been quoted as saying he would love to see every team get into the playoffs. And it's like, then what's the point of having a regular season?
Yeah, I hate that.
If you're going to dilute, if you're going to dilute the playoff field to the point where everybody gets in, what is the point of having standings in the first place? What's the point of playing 162 games over the course of 6 months? It's a grind. It's always been a grind. It's been a grind for decades. Leave it alone and quit trashing the game. And you want to introduce pitch clocks? Fine. You want to speed the game up? That's great because it prevents guys from stepping out of the box for too long. It prevents pitchers from, towing the rubber and just playing with their glove in between pitches and taking 20 minutes. That's fine. If you want to, I really don't agree with the idea of a robotic strike zone, but I think that the umpires behind the plate calling those balls and strikes need to be held more accountable. I like the fact that replay has kind of evolved into what it has. This year, they've introduced microphones on the crew chief for the umpiring crews, and they get on their microphone and they explain to the crowd what would happen. It's almost like the NFL where the referees are down on the field and he's telling, after further review kind of a thing. I like that because it tells the crowd exactly what's going on.
Why did they just start doing that? What they should have done that a long time ago. Because they started doing that like
a lot of that has got to do with the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement with the players union. You're going to have a lot of these guys that are just like, it's. I think a lot of it, I would say the technology hasn't been there, but like with the NFL, the instant replay used to be at that stadium. And you had the camera angles from the TV and you had the camera angles that were there at the stadium there before that. Now, when they started sending everything to New York for both the NFL and the MLB, there are cameras all over these stadiums looking at every conceivable angle. They've got a camera that looks over the top of home plate. They got one that is buried in the field that looks at home plate. They've got the bags, the bases are mic'd up. They've got cameras in them. They've got cameras around them. And they're all set down into the field so where we can see these different camera angles and they can break it down frame by frame to see if the ball is in the net of the glove before the player's foot hits the base or vice versa, kind of a thing. And I think it's had to evolve. And, with the replay, I get it. I like it. I think we need to keep that. I think that it needs to be tweaked a little bit as far as like what's included in instant replay or challenges as far as non-challengeable plays. I think that definitely for sure, if we were to have if we'd had instant replay in baseball a few years ago, that pitcher Galarragas, I think his last name was, pitched for Detroit. Jim Joyce blew what should have been the final out of that perfect game. He called the runner safe when he was clearly out. I mean, he admitted the next day, he said, I kicked the shit out of that call. And he apologized. And then the next day, in a very, very huge show of class, the pitcher from the day prior, the one who had a perfect game taken away from him, presented the lineup card to that umpire the next day before the game. And they hugged. And he was just like, look, man, it happens. It's whatever. And, so I mean, that we should have had that perfect game back. Now, do I think that instant replay in baseball needs to be retroactive? Absolutely not. And it's not because I'm a Red Sox fan and there's games out there that might have gone the other way, because those games are already final, and you can't overturn the results of that game.
Yeah,
because you don't know. Okay, if you take a run off the board, well, okay, that's going to put it into extra innings. What, are you just going to knock that one as a tie? And then how are you going to figure out the way that the standings are supposed to, fall? How are those going to be amended? And if it had to come to like, okay, you got a tie, and now you got two teams tied for the last playoff spot, what are you going to have those guys come out of retirement just to play that game to figure out who was going to eventually go on and maybe win the World Series?
That'll be fucking hilarious, especially if one has like oxygen thing. They're like pulling around that big fucking canister and everything. That would be fucked off, mind you. But you'd
get old timers out there with arthritis in their hands, and we're talking knuckles as big as our nose, on a hover round scooter. They're in there hitting off a tee. But
yeah, I know, right?
No, let's see here. Football news. Zach Wilson, the Jets quarterback, he's already gone for the year.
Yeah, I was reading that. I was gonna get
he blew his meniscus. He underwent surgery. Their offensive tackle, what was his name? Beckham. What is his first name? Mekhi Beckham or Becton. He was placed on the injured reserve list. Let me see here. Something a little bit local for you. Let me see here. I'm looking. NFC East. The Cowboys haven't cut anybody yet.
Nope, you got the wrong.
Well, at least not this past week.
Nope, you got that wrong, sir.
No, I'm looking on the NFL page right now.
I'm looking at the sports. Cowboys make 5 cuts, including spring FA signing, to get down to 85 players.
Okay, so this was yesterday. So okay,
this is all on. Right. Yeah, Cowboys. They must reduce from 90 to 85 roster by Tuesday.
Well, then because if you scroll down further to where the Cowboys are listed, they don't have any. They've got a bullet point, but there's no names attached to that.
But they
haven't. Yeah, they have to cut people, but they haven't done it yet.
They have.
Now, I don't know if this is indicative.
Do have names, though.
Well, I'm sure they do. Of people that need to be cut, or people that they would like to see cut, or people that they think should get cut. But at least as of this week, they have not officially cut anybody from their roster yet.
Well, from what they're saying is the team must cut down to 81 players.
Right. Must cut down does not equate to or translate into everybody else's English that they have. So,
all right, I'm sorry.
Must don't or
sorry.
The word must translates in both American and the Queen's English, rather, a meaning of necessity. So that means they have to. So
You would beat
all that aside,
you would beat a dead horse, wouldn't you? I mean, I told you I was wrong, and I'm sorry, and you just kept on hitting me with your words.
okay. TJ Basher played for Texas Tech. He went to Ryder High School there in Wichita Falls.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really he's been opening some eyes for people at the Dallas training camp. So we'll see what happens, man. I'd like to see somebody from Wichita Falls area represent wearing the Cowboy star, but we'll see what happens, man. The big story this week out of the NFL wasn't on the field. It was in the homes of fans, specifically season ticket holders. The Las Vegas Raiders sent their season ticket holders these huge, ornate, lit boxes. And I'm not talking lit like, oh, them a guy, they on fire. No, I'm talking they legitimately had LED lights on the inside of these boxes, holding their season tickets, along with vouchers and stuff like that, and all kinds of cool stuff, right?
How much does season tickets cost?
I haven't even looked at it because I know that I don't make that kind of money. But I mean, I would venture to maybe get Houston Texan tickets, but that doesn't make me a Texans fan. It's just if I wanted to consume football on that kind of a level where, I would go drive the 40 minutes into Houston to go to NRG, half the season, then yeah, sure. But nah, I don't know. I really don't think I as it is, I'm going to try to get tickets to take my wife and my sister-in-law to AT&T Stadium in December to watch the Texans play the Cowboys. Try being the operative word there, but I don't know. Let me see here. I don't see any names out here that really kind of jump out at me. I'm scrolling through these cut lists already, and I'm not really all that impressed with the names. Well, I say impressed. It's more like I'm kind of taken aback. So I'm scrolling through. I don't see any names.
Okay,
that jump out at me.
I just got the price. It's $1,628 for upper level seats.
Nope.
What?
Nope. I'm not paying that.
Oh,
nope.
Okay.
And that's for a nosebleed seat.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's all the games. How many games are there?
Well, it's not the number of games they play; it's how many games they play at home. That's what you're buying tickets for.
Yeah.
But football news has really kind of been ho hum this week, so we'll see what happens next week. NASCAR news. Kevin Harvick has won. We had this huge drought of winless, this huge winless streak. I think it was stretching back like almost a season and a half, almost a full 2 seasons, and then he's reeled off 2 victories in a row. Next week they're going to a road course, Watkins Glen, and that's where Chase Elliott won his first race. He's already heavily favored to win that race going into it next Sunday. They're going to have like 10 international drivers making their Cup debut on Sunday at Watkins Glen, because you've got all these NASCAR teams that are fielding an extra car, or they're pulling their regular driver to put what they call as a road course ringer into it. And we're talking Indy, Formula One drivers are coming over. You got road course specialists that do things like Le Mans, those endurance races.
Yeah.
They're fielding 10, and that is the most in NASCAR history, where 10 international drivers have come over. And something that's got a lot of people's feathers ruffled, mine kind of included a little bit. Right now you've got Chevy, Ford, and Toyota as the three manufacturers in Cup right now in NASCAR. Honda has been fielding a Cup car, and it's got a lot of people. They're like, "What? Why? Why? You going to further dilute it?" I mean, it's just there's when Dodge left, and it brought the number of manufacturers back down to three. The sport kind of settled down because you had a lot of people that were coming in and they were like running a one car or a two car team. And these one car teams, they were called start and parkers. So what they would do is they would come in, they would start the race, run a few laps, and then pull it into the garage and park it and collect a paycheck. And it really was kind of damaging the sport. And the like Dodge and even Ford to an extent, and some Chevy teams, they were they were coming in and they were setting down setting down these low price entry points or low price points for team owners to come in. And it was really kind of like you started to see that haves and haves nots line a little bit more clearly defined.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the teams that had manufacturer support like Hendrick, Roush, the Roush Fenway group, before Brad Keselowski bought into it to make it Roush Keselowski Racing. They had manufacturer support directly from Ford, directly from Chevrolet. And so they had the money to go out and test. They had the money to go out and tweak with the bodies, the chassis, and put them in the wind tunnels and do all the testing that they needed. And it really started to show because they were the ones that either Roush would win or Hendrick would win, or every once in a while you'd see Richard Childress Motorsports, or Richard Childress Racing, rather. They would come in and they would win a race every once in a while. When they brought in this next gen car, eventually I'm going to learn not to hit my microphone. But they brought in this next gen car that they're fielding this year. See, I just did it again.
See, you're like an Italian. You have to use your hands.
I do, and what's funny is that there's no Italian in me at all, like none. But that was really bad. I'm so sorry. I'll probably do that again, but I'm going to promise to try not to. But and I lost my train of thought. Oh my God. Okay, so when they brought in this next gen car, it had NASCAR had all the intentions of bringing this car in for the sole purpose of parity. Leveling the playing field. You had a fixed entry point or a price point. The cars would only cost a certain amount of money to field. Parts were supposed to be plentiful. And then when Biden took office, we had this huge supply chain shortage. And it just made things really, really tight budgetary wise for the team owners. And, and we talked about this a few weeks ago whenever I was listening to the Dale Jr. download. He had Denny Hamlin on, and he was talking about pricing, the cost to fix these cars after a race. And that carbon fiber underskirt that they've got underneath the cars, that's a $5,000 piece right there.
And it has to be.
And it has to be on the car, and there's only one place to get them. And they're not allowed by NASCAR to have like a carbon fiber guy manufacturer of those, because if you start manufacturing them in house, there's going to be, the guys are going to spend money trying to figure out a way to make it lighter, to make it better, to get an edge. And
that never happens. I bet there's a grunt in there.
Dude, what was it? It said Dale Jr. actually had a show, one of his episodes, where he talked about cheating. And Dale Waltrip, one of the legends of the sport, used to talk about back in the day when he used to run a car for Junior Johnson, that they would put in the frame of the car, they'd fill it with buckshot, lead shot, right?
Okay.
And there was a switch that he could flip inside the car, and it would empty out onto the track behind it. It would make his car lighter.
Better. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And they knew he was cheating. They just couldn't figure out how. And so they went all over this car. Never found anything. Well, Dale Waltrip was on an episode. They did a live episode when the circuit was in Nashville. And he said, they'd put my car up on jacks and they couldn't find where these lead shot were supposed to be coming out of. It was because we had put the tube to come out through the bottom of the jack stand.
Yeah.
So, because you got a jack peg that's right in the middle of the chassis, and that's where they put the jack in, and it fits into this cup, right?
Yeah.
So when they put the jack up there, it covers up the hole where this lead shot was coming out. They never could figure it out. Years after the fact, it was like, okay, what are you going to do? Penalize me and take my championship away? No. So, they were like, yeah, that's what we used to do.
That is freaking hilarious.
But yeah, dude, it's great. Brittany Griner's back in the news. She and her defense team are appealing the Russian court decision.
Yeah, as soon as they got it done, they appealed it. What's sad is what's gonna happen. Okay, I already know what's gonna happen because they couldn't do it until they wanted to prosecute her first. They wanted everybody to know that Russia has no goes for the justice.
Mm-hmm.
She did wrong. She brought in an illegal substance into Russia, but they wanted to make a statement, and afterwards they're going to do a trade. What's literally for this trade is hurting her right now is her popularity. It's like, hey, she's popular now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to ask for more. And just messing up this trade so she can get back in the United States.
Well, she already said that this coming season she was going to boycott the national anthem. She was going to stay in the locker room until it was done. I think she's got that covered already. But totally. The former governor of New Mexico, Bill Richardson, he told ABC News Tuesday, I think, he said something about he's optimistic that they're going to bring Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan back from Russia through a prisoner exchange.
Yeah.
Now, why it matters is that he's also a former U.S. ambassador to the UN. He's been involved in negotiations with Americans before. Now, the DOD press secretary, John Kirby, I think his name is, last month, he said that the Biden administration asked Richardson to work to release Americans being wrongfully held in Russia. Well, here's the problem. Brittany Griner's not wrongfully being held. She legitimately broke a law. She was tried and convicted. So, there's that. He helped with the release of Danny Foster, who was a journalist in Myanmar. Trevor Reed, who was released from Russia through a prisoner exchange earlier this year. And it's like, why are we exchanging prisoners to begin with? I get if they're legitimately being wrongfully held, then fine, we work for the release. But if they actually screwed the pooch and they stepped on her lips, like I had pointed out in my monologue a couple of weeks ago, she plays in Russia during the off season just to play basketball, so she knows the rules, she knows the laws.
Yeah,
she says, "Oh, well, yeah, they're in there, but I packed them on accident when I was just in a hurry." No, you thought you were going to be slick. You thought wrong. You played a stupid game. You win a very stupid prize. I hate the fact that you're having to. I hate the fact that you're having to be put in the gulag and then possibly fight demigorgons. But that you brought that on yourself, sister.
See,
or does she identify as a man? I don't know.
No, she's a woman. Here's the thing. Okay, this is my conspiracy theory on this one. Well, conspiracy on it. It's not a theory. Here's my thing on it. My thing on it is what I think happened last year when she came through, she probably just put that in there. And then the delegates go, okay, she's playing for us and everything like that. We'll let her pass. And then this year they're going to war with Ukraine. They're United States is selling stuff to Ukraine, not to Russia, and they're going this time we kind of don't want that. You're going to jail. That's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, she probably got a wink and a hug from some customs agent coming in and out of Russia, but this time they were like, no, he's got the day off. You deal with me, bitch." You know,
Yeah, you deal with me, bitch.
I mean,
in
Mother Russia, prison go to you. But you know, she just needs to stop. I mean, honestly, if she wants to set a better example, I mean, because when she comes back, she's only going to fill a quarter of the seats for 2 weeks, and then everybody's going to forget that she's there. And the only people that are going to continue to praise her name is going to be ESPN, ABC, and that's only because they're owned by the same parent company, and these liberal news outlets. So
what you're saying is they're going to get a disabled person that only has like I'm trying to think the quarter. He only has an arm and he's in a wheelchair. Watch the game.
No, this is playing on the idea
because that's a quarter of a person.
I understand what you're saying. I understand a quarter of the seats for the capacity of the stadiums that she's going to start or she's going to play in. Now, I mean, remember what the commissioner of the WNBA said is that we stand to lose hundreds of dollars, several hundreds of dollars. Like, when I read that, I read that, and I'm like, wait, is that a typo? I went back and read it again. I'm like, I know I'm not dyslexic. That says several hundreds of dollars.
I gotta stop.
I'm like, I'm sitting there going, holy hell. That does say several hundreds of dollars. Oh man. You know, I mean,
that was awesome. That was good. But we got to get Colin on here so he can do his
so he's doing Meet the Teacher tonight. He did text me.
Oh, okay.
And okay, so we're gonna kind of do let's see if I can figure this out on the fly here.
I can do a really good quick joke.
No, I got one.
Okay.
I got one. He sent the joke that he wanted to do.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna do the intro.
If it's not good, I'm gonna take over.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, angry faithful of all ages, it's that time once again that you've all come to know and love. It's joke time with Colin. Now, filling in for Colin this week is his dad, me, the man, the myth, the legend, 230 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. Here's his joke of the week. Sex is like math. You add the bed, subtract the clothes, divide the legs, and pray you don't multiply.
That's a good
one. I think it helped because I gave it my best micro delivery.
There was one I saw. I think I sent it. Nobody looks at my fucking videos. But I told Cynthia the same thing. I sent her something, and I was like, "Hey, you need to watch this to help you do your podcast and everything." And then, like, quiz her. I was like, "Did you figure that stuff out? What stuff? The video I sent you to help out your podcast. How to make it easier on you for your do Anchor and everything." She's like, "You sent me something? Okay, never mind." But no. Teacher asked, "What is necromancy?" And kid steps up. It's like, it's open up in a cold one with the boys.
It's necrophilia.
Necrophilia. God damn it! I messed up that joke. man, I don't want to use an excuse, but I just my brain is not fully working, and I can't wait to talk to Tansy. Tansy's really good. Have you watched
Necromancy would be the definition of necromancy would be you cast a spell and cracked open a warmed up one.
Yeah.
Or a reheated one.
No, Paladin says raising kids is raising a family is hard. Necromancy going not if they're all together.
Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, that was joke time this week, everybody. That is my genetic makeup by proxy being filled in by, well, me. You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening, watching, whatever you're doing with us. Hopefully nothing too extravagant. We're going to have some big stuff happening. We still have to do the Psychos and Sociopaths Columbine High 2, which will be on Friday, but we're going to have a special guest on Thursday.
Friday, we're doing our first walkthrough of the house, and then I've got to drive north and try to meet her mom, their mom halfway.
Okay, what we're going to do is Tansy's going to be on Thursday. We're going to put that on for Saturday for the Psychos and Sociopaths. Then next week, we'll do the Columbine High part 2. We're just having a special guest this week. I got a hold of him. He's a great guy. He's one of the hosts of Failure to Stop.
Is he a ho-ho or a ding-dong?
I think he's probably both. Dude, Monday after I sent him the photos,
You're trying to tell him that he's never lonely on a Friday night.
He is never lonely on a Friday night. No. Well, he also, well, it's kind of one of those catch 120 type deals because he runs
catch 22.
Well, he has catch 20. Is it? Man, I am out of it. But he has a distillery.
Distillery, yes.
He makes rum in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
His stuff that he's a ex-Army Ranger, I think Army Ranger. I got to re-look at that. Ex-police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main reason why we're going to have him on, because he was a cop for, I think, 8 years.
Okay.
But catch us later, everybody. Thank you for watching. And
I'm Johnny Skelton.
As
stated. And this was Nerd Sports episode number 70.
Victory!